Hey man,
Hey man, how are you?
good. How are you?
Good.
Just sitting in the car there.
Yeah, on my way back from Ottawa. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Have you been down there able to train and stuff or no?
No. I had my visa appointment in Ottawa at 11 this morning. So now we're just driving back.
Oh, okay. So did you go up yesterday then?
Yeah.
Gotcha. And what have you been doing just to stay in shape while you've been at
Uh,
home?
been doing a lot of cardio training actually. A
Yeah.
lot of running, a lot of interval training, and then now that gyms are opening up, I've been able to get into a gym a little bit more,
Right.
and been doing some individual training with Dave Preston. So
Oh, okay. So you've had a little bit of access then to touch a ball and
yeah,
stuff.
a little bit of touches in. So it's
Oh, okay.
nice.
Nice. I filled your spot the other day for beach with Peter, JP, and John.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I was so bummed that I couldn't go to that.
Yeah. No, it was fun. It was a nice day too. It wasn't like it was hot, but it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, that's nice. That's awesome.
But yeah, I'll get right into your interview or your introduction. So, for everyone that doesn't know, this is Brandon Koppers. Brandon spent some time playing at Mcmaster. One thing a lot of people I don't think know is that you spent some time playing with the club, right?
Yep.
And you started off playing at the club when you were 15U. And interestingly enough, you actually got noticed through House League, right?
Yeah, actually, I did. Because by the time I decided I wanted to go into to like play for Pac-Man, the tryouts already passed.
Yeah.
So I emailed Kelly, and Kelly said, "Hey, we have this like Sunday league. You can come join." So I ended up showing up. I think whenever Kelly tells me the story, he says, "I saw your parents walk in and saw how tall they were, and I made one dive during that Sunday training." And he's like, "Okay, we got to get this kid in the gym." So
So
yeah.
I can give you the story. I can give you the story that he had told me when I talked to him today.
Okay.
He said to me that he saw you. He saw you, and he said that you were tall, right, and you were athletic. And he said that he saw you do a layup on the basketball rim at the Mississauga Secondary School gym. And apparently, from there, he could tell that you were athletic, and that he could definitely teach you how to play volleyball. So that's the story I was told.
Okay.
But
Well, he definitely knows
how'd you
better
first?
than I do.
Yeah, he said he remembers it like pretty clearly. But
Sorry.
how'd you get started? How'd you get started playing volleyball?
Volleyball? Well, it kind of all started back in elementary school. I would play in just like grade 4, grade 5, grade 6, just recreational. But I was really into soccer actually. I got into select and rep soccer, and then my coach decided to quit going into grade 9. So a lot of my team actually quit playing soccer, and I ended up like deciding like what I would like what I want to do with sports. Like my goal was always to be a professional athlete. So at first it was to be a
Right.
professional soccer player, but I just loved volleyball. Like I'd be at home and I'd just be volleying a ball against the wall, bumping, passing, just like love to play. So decided I
Right.
want to take it further than just high school volleyball, and then found Pac-Man because at the
Right.
time there was no Georgetown Impact where I was.
Right. So
So
Pac-Man was the closest club to you guys.
Pac-Man was the closest, and I'm very happy that I went to Pac-Man. It was probably one of the better decisions I've
Right.
made.
And I wanted to talk about your 16U season, specifically in terms of your club career. 16U year, you guys were able to win provincials and nationals, which would have been your second year playing club, right?
Yeah.
What was that like to kind of play in 16U in your second year of club and have an immediate impact, like on the
Uh,
court right away and help the team?
yeah, it was actually a crazy year. Like when I joined the club, it was already a very successful club to begin with, and I was joining not with not much experience under my belt, but just really eager to learn. So one of the best things that I think a lot of coaches have said about like my abilities, I'm very coachable. So everything Kelly said to me, I was like a sponge. I absorbed it and just tried to implement it into my game. And I think by in 15U, by like nationals, I was able to get a little bit more court time. And then 16U, we just had an unreal season. I think Nathan Murdoch had one of the better seasons he's had.
Yeah.
Ricky Brar was probably the best setter in Ontario at that point. So we had a lot of really good pieces around us to make us the very successful club that we were.
Right. And you started off playing middle. when you first started playing. Was that challenging for you? Just because a lot of people would say middle is one of the harder positions to play on the court.
Yeah, luckily for me, I played middle up until that point, so I was kind of always a middle. And then I think 16U and 17U, I started to play. I think they implemented libero in 17U, but I started to play a lot more back row. And then Kelly in my 18U year decided that I should try playing as a receiver as a left side.
Right. And
middle is a very difficult position, especially on perfect passes. Read blocking is probably one of the hardest skills in volleyball, I think.
Yeah. And you playing middle, do you think that helped your blocking a little bit on the outside?
I think it for sure helps. And I think playing different positions when you're young helps you to really learn how tough it is to play each position. And as you move through different positions, able to like help you be a good leader and to help other people around you in those positions. Because I played middle for 3 years of Pac-Man, left side for 1, but I was also doing setting training too with Jeff Chung at the time.
Right.
Every Sunday we were doing practices, and I could see how hard it was for setters and all the footwork that goes into it that you don't really see when you're playing another position. You don't know all that hard work that kind of goes in the background.
For sure.
And it's good to get a good appreciation of each individual position and to be able to assist.
Right. And what was, you brought up training with Jeff. What was one kind of takeaway that you had from him?
It was all about the footwork. Jeff is big into the footwork, being quick, not just like meeting the ball there, but beating the ball there every single time. Being fast, little steps instead of big steps, so you're easier to make adjustments. And I think that was honestly the biggest thing I took from was the footwork aspect of it.
Right. And I wanted to ask you about your coaching staff in HNU. So you would have had Kelly, Deem, and Ivan, correct?
Yep.
What would you say was positive about the three of them coaching together? Like, did they complement each other?
I think they really complemented each other. Kelly is I honestly think one of the better club coaches in development, and he was great all the way through to 18U. Ivan was able to push us a little bit more than Kelly did, so that was a very nice kind of balance between them. And Dean was always there as like a good friend. If you ever needed to talk to him, he was there, and he was he would always listen. So the three of them had a very good staff chemistry going on that club team, and it was really nice.
Right. And just having the three of them as your coaching staff, did that maybe make you more comfortable to play HNU in a new position?
Yeah, it did. It was also because there was never a point where any of them doubted my ability, and that is, I think, a big part of development in the club level is that you need to have a coaching staff around you that believes in you.
Yeah. And so one thing Kelly told me when I talked to him this morning was during your HNU year, people, like a lot of university coaches, start to notice you a little bit more playing on the left.
Yeah.
And Kelly said that you had like a lot of schools talking to you. So how did you ultimately make your decision to go to Mac?
Ultimately, the one deciding factor for me was Dave Preston. I truly believe he's one of the best coaches in the league, and you can even see through his history there at Mcmaster. He's brought that team from, I think when he joined 18 years ago, to being in last place, not winning a single match, to now being in the top 8 universities in Canada for 10 years in a row now, maybe even more, and winning 9 championships out of his 18 years. And it also helped that I knew if I wanted to be the best, I needed to play with the best. So that was also a big thing for me because I know Steve Marr, Danny Demyanenko were going there the year before me. Alex Elliott was middle, Austin Smith, setting, Jory Mantha. Those are all guys I looked up to while I was playing at Pac-Man. So I knew if I wanted to be able to beat those guys, I needed to join them and train with them every single day so I could ultimately get better. Yeah,
for sure. And quickly, just going back to your HNU year, you won the Ken Davies Award, and that's an award that obviously one person a year wins, right, in the HNU division. How did it feel to get an award like that?
Honestly, I was truly honored. Ken Davies is a big part of the OVA, and everything that he did on the court until he passed it's something to aspire to. So to be honestly, one, to even be nominated, because I didn't know I was nominated, and then I found out going into provincials that I was nominated, and I ultimately won. So it was just a huge honor, and that's something I carry as like a badge of honor even till today. Like, that's a big award for me.
Yeah, for sure. And I just want to get into your resume here quickly for your time at Mac, and then we can talk about that. But your first year, you guys, so actually I'm just going to get this out of the way, but all 5 years you guys won an OUA gold medal.
Yeah.
You guys won a bronze medal your first and second year.
Yeah.
Your third year, you won a silver medal. Fourth year, you got a bronze medal, and fifth year, a bronze medal.
Yeah.
And on top of those, your fourth year, you were first team All-Star, and your last year, you were first team All-Star and an All-Canadian second team.
Yeah.
I guess my question to you is, you played in a lot of CIS bronze medal games, right? And I think it's fair to say across sports that a bronze medal game is one of the hardest games to play because you've lost in semifinals. How were you able? How were like you and your teammates able to have success after having like disappointing losses?
The one thing about university and even club, you kind of go into it and you lose that semifinal and it's devastating. But you go into a bronze medal knowing you're not going to play with the same guys next year. You know, guys are going to graduate, and you know it's their last time wearing that jersey. So that's a big like reason why we've been so successful is because we always play for each other. And in those moments when we think it's tough, it's like it's those guys' last chance. It's their last time wearing that jersey.
Right.
So you got to make the most of it, and you always want to end on a win at the end of the season.
For sure. And you played a couple of years with Stephen Marr, right? While you were at Mac, what were some things that you were able to take away from him?
His work ethic, honestly. He is an animal in the gym. He is the hardest worker. He's the first one there, the last one to leave every single day, every single training. And his work ethic is one thing that I really tried to kind of latch onto him and follow him, and ultimately try to implement into my game.
Right. And one question I got in the question box was, what is the Trinity Western and Mcmaster rivalry like?
I wouldn't even call it a rivalry. It's honestly, I love playing Trinity. They are, Ben Joseph is also a great coach. And we always square up against them at nationals, and it's always a fun battle every single year. I don't know if I'd call it a rivalry because I don't know if there's really any hatred between the two teams.
Right.
It's just two elite level teams playing each other, and it's a lot of fun.
Right. So then I'll rephrase it. But how does it feel to maybe step on the court with some of those guys on Trinity Western?
It's great. Ben Joe has put a lot of players into the national team program and a lot of very elite athletes. So to step on the court against them, you just want to fight and you want to play the best volleyball you can because you know you're playing against the best guys in the league.
Right. And I want to move on to your national team experiences. One thing I found interesting was you and Joey Jarvis played on the same team, right?
Yep.
For club, and then obviously he didn't play at the university or college level, but how did it feel to maybe reconnect with him after a couple of years?
Honestly, it was amazing. I think in club we only played 2 years together. I think he joined Pac-Man in 17U as second opposite, and we kind of lost contact. Once I went to university, him and I didn't really talk too much. We saw each other at a couple high school events because we'd both be coaching our old high schools.
Right.
And then when I heard he was going to NEP, the national team full-time center, yeah. I was stoked. And then talked to him a little bit before B team tryouts, and he told me he was trying out, and I was really excited. And we got to play a full summer together, and that was amazing.
Yeah. And given that that was yours and his first year on the B team, right? Just because you knew him beforehand, did that maybe make you a little bit more comfortable in that situation?
Yeah. Joey's a great athlete and a great volleyball player, so him being on the B team was no shock to me. So it was just really nice to play with him and battle against him every single day in the gym. And it's the one thing you kind of learn once you leave university is you play with new guys all the time, and you kind of got to find a way to get comfortable with them. But it was really nice to be able to play with Joey. Just I knew him beforehand, and it was pretty easy to reconnect with him.
Right. And just talking about international volleyball experiences, is there maybe one play or one game that maybe kind of was like a welcome to international volleyball experience for you?
Yeah, I'll say my first year of pro. I was playing in the Plus Liga in Poland, one of the best leagues in the world, and I was so nervous. I think I got subbed into serve one point, and I blasted it 10, 15 meters out of bounds.
Right.
And all the guys just kind of laughed it off, and that was like my nice welcome to international volleyball, welcome to pro.
Right. And just playing some international tournaments, right, for the national team. Is there one country that really impressed you playing against?
Cuba. Cuba is a very impressive country. You know, they don't have a whole heck of a lot, but every time they step on the court, they play like there is no tomorrow. Like it is the last time they're gonna play volleyball, and not a lot of countries do that. You know, like especially I'd even say like some games with Volleyball Canada, it's like we play games, but we don't have that same fight, that same fire that they do.
Right.
So it's a lot of fun to play against Cuba. It's a lot of very physical athletes, and they don't stop. It doesn't matter if they're losing by 10 or winning by 10. They just keep fighting.
Right. And is that something that you were maybe able to take away and kind of try to really dig into yourself there?
Yeah, that is one thing I've really tried to learn. And you all know it was an eye-opener in France this year, because in France, a lot of the teams have very similar rosters skill-wise.
Right.
So there are no favorites, and it was that mentality that Cuba had that I tried to implement in my game through the season in France.
Right. And that leads me to my next question. How's your time been playing pro?
I've played with a lot of really good athletes. I've been very fortunate that way in some very good clubs, and it's been great. I love it. Living in a new country is amazing. It's intimidating and scary at first because you don't know the language, but everybody's so friendly, everybody's so nice. The athletes you play against, they all live and breathe volleyball, which is just so much fun to be around, and it's been great so far.
Is there maybe one country that maybe you remember for the food?
For the food, Poland. My fiance is actually Polish and has some family there. Right. So I got a lot of home-cooked traditional Polish meals. So it was really good.
And just talking about a language barrier, did you struggle at first and then slowly start to pick up the language a little more?
Honestly, language for me is very difficult. I've been trying to learn Polish, and I'm still learning to this day Polish. It's like almost 3 years ago that I started. But you start to pick up on it for sure, because once you kind of immersed in language, you start to really pick up on words a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But I've been also very fortunate that all of my teammates have been able to speak English.
Right.
So
and have you had any like Canadians or Americans that have played on your teams as well, or no?
I had an American and an Australian this season in France. Right. So we all lived in the same apartment building, and it was nice. It was really nice.
Right. Well, what was maybe the biggest difference for you going to play from university to pro?
I think the biggest difference is that, like, in university, you're very used to playing with the same athletes every year, and then you kind of step into a new world of volleyball where you don't really know everybody, and it's tough at first because you have to kind of get used to everybody, their way of playing, and so I think that's like the biggest thing. And then it's just everybody lives and breathes volleyball, and sometimes that can get exhausting.
Right.
You also kind of need to find a healthy balance of getting a break where you're not thinking about volleyball too much, or else you get inside your head about it. So I think that's been the biggest lesson I've had to learn going from university to pro.
For sure. And one thing I've heard that's a big difference just from university to pro is the blocking. Did you notice a difference with that as well?
I wouldn't, not too much, because a lot of the blocking systems that we do in pro have been the same as national team.
Right.
So I've been used to it now, and so it wasn't too much of an adjustment.
And my last two questions for you are, like, what are some future goals? Do you strive to play in the Olympics one day?
Yeah, so the Olympics is the goal, it's the dream. So right now I am shooting for 2021. I'm on the long list, but we'll see what happens. And then if not, 2024 is my goal.
Right. And once volleyball's done in terms of playing, would you look at coming back and coaching?
Yeah, coaching. I want to. Volleyball has done a lot for me, and it's something I want to give back to volleyball in the future. And I've learned a lot through my years of playing, and that's something I want to be able to give back to the volleyball community in the future. I don't know in what capacity, but I'll find a way to give back and to coach.
But no, for sure. And I'm sure the club would love to have you back too. I'm sure that'd be pretty cool. But my last thing for you is just advice for younger athletes.
For younger athletes, work hard. You know, you got to take care of your body. One thing I've learned, and it's been a tough lesson, is that you're in charge of your own development. Coaches are there to help facilitate it and guide you on that path. But what you do with your body physically, mentally, is on you. So just keep working hard, keep bettering yourself every single day, and that's all you can do. Do something every day to make yourself better.
For sure. Well, best of luck next year, going off to play pro. I'm not sure what that looks like for you, but best of luck with that.
Yeah, headed to Italy, hopefully in the next few days. So.
Okay. And is that a new destination for you?
Yep. That'll be third country in the third year.
So that'll be exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
But yeah, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no worries. We'll talk later.
All right, sounds good, buddy.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. This week on Friday, Peter Ragosi will be on with us.